Surprisingly, even the adults on the island were unable to catch it. Just like his father, Jing Freaks, Gon inherited the same talent, allowing him to catch the lake monster with ease. First, Mita asked Gon to catch the lake monster because she did not want him to follow Jing's path of becoming a hunter. Ever since Jing left to become a hunter, he never returned to Kajira Island, not even to care for Gon, his own child. Therefore, Gon was raised by Mito and his grandmother. However, Gon was determined as he still wanted to become a hunter out of curiosity about his father and to meet him someday. In short, Gon boards a ship that will take him to the hunter exam site. On this sailing ship, Gon meets his two new friends, Kurapika and Leorio, who will also take the hunter exam with him. During the journey, waves and storms hit, but they manage to reach Oldport. However, the journey doesn't end there. In fact, it hasn't even really begun, as they need to reach the exam site located on the top of a mountain. As part of the hunter exam, on their way to the mountain peak, Gon and the others face several obstacles, including a moral question posed by an old woman in her group. After successfully answering the question, they continue their journey. As Gon and his groups grow hungry, they search for food in the forest. A few steps later, the group come across a house, and inside, they find a couple being attacked by a monster known as a Maju. These are highly intelligent creatures that can transform into humans. Upon seeing Gon and his friends, one of the mages quickly escapes, taking the wife with it. As a result, a chase ensues, while Leorio tends the dying husband. During the chase, the Maju drops the wife, and Kurapika picks her up. Shortly after, Leorio catches up, claiming the husband is fine, so he leaves him and follows Kurapika. Unexpectedly, Kurapika suddenly strikes Leorio on the head, revealing that this wasn't the real Leorio, but the Maju, who had transformed into him. Kurapika realized the truth because he knew Leorio would never leave an injured patient, as Leorio has a desire to become a doctor, and a doctor's duty is to treat patients until they recover. The Maju, impressed by Kurapika's analysis, offers a small compliment. At the same time, Gon loses track of the Maju he was chasing until he reaches the edge of the forest. Unexpectedly, the Maju reappears, intending to attack Gon. However, the attack stops when Gon realizes that this Maju isn't the same one he was chasing earlier. Upon hearing this, the Maju was impressed by Gon's strong observational skills. It turned out that the mages were actually a married couple with two children, who were initially mistaken for a human couple. In truth, the human couple were the children of the mages, using human forms. They were actually examiners for the ongoing hunter exam. As a result, they assessed that Kurapika passed the exam due to his excellent analytical abilities. Meanwhile, Leorio passed because of his good treatment and handling of the patient. Not only that, Gon also passed due to his physical endurance and strong observational skills. Thanks to their individual strengths, all three of them passed the exam, and they were taken to the next exam site. After a short air journey, they arrived in Zaban City. The examiner then led them to a restaurant, which turned out to be the entrance to the first stage of the hunter exam. At that moment, he used an elevator to reach an underground room, while the examiner left as his job was only to bring them to that point. Inside, Kurapika and Leorio discuss their goals of completing the exam and obtaining a hunter license. As those who become hunters with proof of their license gain advantages in their careers and easy access to future goals. Soon, they arrived at the underground sewer area, where they encountered hundreds of tense-looking participants. At that place, they met a man named Tampa, who explained that it was his 34th attempt at the hunter exam, as he had failed in all his previous tries. He also warned the participants about people they should be cautious of, especially a magician named Hisoka. It turned out, Hisoka had previously reached the final stage of the hunter exam, but was disqualified for killing an examiner he didn't like. At that moment, Tampa seemed friendly and chatted with them. During the conversation, Tampa offered them drinks as a gesture of introduction. The three, being naive, accepted the drinks without hesitation. Unexpectedly, Tampa had an ulterior motive to poison them and cause them to fail the exam. Yet, just as they were about to drink, Gon sensed something off. Being grown up in nature, Gon knew a lot about food food, drinks, and particularly poisons. As a result, Tampa's plan was foiled. It was revealed that Tampa had a habit of sabotaging newcomers in their first year of exam. Soon after, he roamed around looking for victims of poison drinks, until a boy around Don's age asked Tampa for a drink. The boy's name was Killua, and he had already drunk 3 bottles of his drink. Yet Tampa was puzzled because the poison had no effect. It turned out that Killua wasn't an ordinary child, as he explained his body had been trained and was immune to such poisons. As a result, Tampa was left shocked hearing this. Not long after, the examiner for the first stage of the hunter arrived. At that moment, the examiner immediately warned the participants to prepare for various life-threatening challenges. The first stage of the exam began as they followed Sadet's location of sensation. The participants then walked behind Sadet, whose pace gradually increased. It still seemed relaxed. Before they knew it, they had been following Sadet for 2 hours, covering a distance of about 30 kilometers as a result. Many participants dropped out due to a physical endurance. It was during this time that he met his new friend, Killua. Since they were the same age, they quickly became close, much like children. Despite their age, both Gon and Killua had remarkable physical stamina, as they showed no signs of fatigue during the first stage. Even Leorio almost collapsed from exhaustion, regained his energy, and pushed forward. Leorio and Kurapika then started discussing their reasons for becoming hunters. Kurapika explained that he came from a tribe called Karada, known for their unique eyes. A Karada's eyes turn red naturally when they experience extreme emotions, and during this state, their strength increases many times over. Not only that, Kurapika's goal was to seek revenge on a group of murderers called age3, who had massacred his tribe and stolen their eyes to sell. Once Kurapika passed the exam, the black market and capture all members of age3, swearing to see it through. Leorio's goals were different from Kurapika's. A hunter to with this license, Leorio would have access to high-paying jobs. It turned out his motivation stemmed from a dark past. Since then, Leorio was determined to become a doctor, but to do so, he needed a lot of money for his education and other necessities. Kurapika and Leo also had a reason for becoming a hunter. All this time, Gon was very curious about his father. Even though Gon had never met Jing, to abandon him in pursuit of being a hunter. Meanwhile, Killua took the hunter exam purely out of boredom, having recently run away from home. In short, after running a long marathon, they reached the end of the underground tunnel. Killua and Gon were the first participants to cross the finish line, but Sadetz informed them that the first stage of the exam was completed. As it turns out, they had passed through a swamp called Numera, which was covered in thick fog and known as a den of deceivers. The ecosystem there was filled with creatures that survived. They needed to run to so far. 368 had tunnel and were now entering the Numera area. Soon after, the fog grew thicker as they progressed. Realizing Killua who was deemed dangerous. However, the participants ahead of them suddenly vanished into the fog, as if attacked by something known as small structures. Obstacle, as deadly mushrooms called claymores also took out a significant number of participants. In addition, hypnotic into a deep sleep. During this time, Gon and Killua were even swallowed by a giant frog that suddenly appeared. However, it wasn't a big problem. Poisoned by the drink Killua was still carrying from Tampa. On the other side, Hisoka was being ambushed by participants who disliked him. From the exam, they were still far from being able to match Hisoka, who swiftly slaughtered them. It didn't take long before they were all dead. Unfortunately, nearby. Realizing the vast difference in strength, Kurapika planned to escape by instructing Leorio to run in the opposite direction. But instead of fleeing, Leorio approached Hisoka to challenge him to a fight. Unexpectedly, Leorio missed, and he was about to be killed. Just as Hisoka was about to finish him off, a punch landed on his face, stopping his attempt to kill Leorio. Trying to save Leorio, but he was still he was choked by Hisoka spared him, noticing his grow in the future. Second exam site. Powerless after true fear. However, it sparked a deep curiosity after the swamp in the Bisca forest. At that moment, Saditz, the examiner for the first stage, bid them farewell as his task was complete. Now, the participants were faced with two new examiners, Minchi and her companion, Bahara. Unexpectedly, instead, they were instructed to cook a Bisca wild boar. Without much discussion, the participants began searching for the boar. And found it, until the forest depths, landing right in front of the Bisca wild boars. It turned out, the creature weren't ordinary boars as they were death used for impaling. Noticed their weakness, causing the fruit to fall and hit its head, which made the boar appear in pain. As a result, Gon concluded that the boar's weakness the Bisca and cooked it as best they could. None of the participants. As a result, Minchi declared that none of them passed the exam. Her decision disappointed the participants, leading to the a moment. This man was a member of the Netero, all the examiners to Netero as the leader of the exam and then made a new decision. Minchi then requested Netero's assistance to take them all to a place called Mount Maputa. The exam would be Kawasi birds, to which Minchi gave a demonstration to all the participants. Soon after, Minchi leaped into a canyon, hanging onto one of the Kawasi at the right moment. In the air, and his friends attempted it as well. Though the exam seemed easy, some participants died after falling, unaware of the successfully retrieved the eggs and ate them, completing the second stage of the exam. After finishing the second stage, only 42 participants. Because of this, they were now on an airship heading to the third exam site. During the journey, they were allowed to rest, while Gon and Killua chatted, spent the night talking. Killua revealed that he came from a family of assassins, the Zoldyck family. Apparently, Killua, after running away it turned out his leadership didn't share his family's perspective, and he didn't want to become an assassin because he found it too boring. Shortly after, Netero approached them. Feeling bored, Netero suggested a shortcut to becoming a left hand, would automatically pass and become hunters. Feeling challenged, the two immediately accepted. Killua then started using a technique from his assassin family called Sekyoku, the Shadow Step. However, despite his efforts, Killua couldn't take Next, he hit the ceiling. Gone and killed. He managed to unbalance Netero. But just as the ball was within reach, Netero quickly reclaimed it before they could touch it. Not only that, his swift movement even scorched the wooden floor. He realized something, so he decided to give up, concluding that Netero was only toying with them. It was impossible for the two of them to take the ball from Netero, since their current ability to take his right arm, left leg. As a result, Killua chose to leave and find some other fun, while Gon decided to continue playing. It turned out Gon didn't care about the ball itself, but was determined to make Netero get serious enough to use his right hand. As Killua exited the room, he bumped into two men. A fellow bump, the men with him, but Killua easily killed them both in a fraction of a second, returning to Gon, who kept trying to provoke Netero into using his right hand. During his strongest attack, Netero was left with two choices: to use his defensive technique and risk Gon's head being crushed, or accept the attack and risk feeling pain. With no other option, Netero died by redirecting Gon's attack and accidentally used his right hand. Seeing this, Gon was overjoyed that he achieved his goal. However, exhaustion quickly got over and Netero was impressed and admired Gon's potential for the future. For several hours, the sun finally rose, and they all arrived at the third exam site, Great Tower. Now standing at the top of the tower, his task was to reach the bottom within 72 hours. Soon after, the third stage of the exam had officially begun. At that moment, a seemingly simple man, a rock climber, attempted a shortcut on the side of the tower. However, he was soon snapped by a terrifying stork-like bird nearby. Realizing that climbing down the tower was not enough, the group began searching for another way. After some time, Gon and Killua informed Kurapika and Leorio that they had found a hidden passage leading inside the tower. Since there were four of them, they would take separate secret entrances. They then said their goodbyes, but surprisingly, all four passages led to the same room. Inside, the examiners, named Lippo, made an announcement. They needed to form a group of members to unlock the next door. It turned out that Lippo was the head warden responsible for overseeing the prisoners held in the tower. Now, Lippo would use these prisoners to test the hunter. However, since Gon's group only had four members, they had to wait for one more person to join them. After a long wait, another participant finally arrived, and Tompa. Without much discussion, they all put bracelets provided to open the door to the next path. After a brief exploration, they arrived in a room where they encountered five prisoners. One of them surrendered or died. Both prepared, but shockingly, Tompa surrendered before the fight even began.